Okay, Candy, I'm talking to you. Okay, see you.
Yeah, it was kind of moving.
Write a note, oh, Candy. Thank you for coming, Jessica. Oh, okay, and Fairfield, oh, Fairfield, okay. Are you with, okay, co-workers? Thank you for the support, appreciate it. No. Alright, so we're opening the floor for any volunteers that would like to say a few words about my father. So just whenever you feel comfortable to come up, you're more than welcome. But until 6:30, until the mass starts.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel, also known as Manny. I'm his kind of grandchild. Grandpa Tony and I met when I was 9 months old. Then my mom met me for the first time to talk from New York. As I get older, I remember Grandpa Tony for always being very nice to me and telling me funny jokes. I will always remember him, especially during last Thanksgiving, where he cooked the biggest turkey I've ever seen. I love you, Grandpa Tony. Grandpa, I will love you and miss you with all my heart. Grandpa, I do not know what I will do without you. The thing that reminds me of you is your hat you wore all the time. It smells just like you. And I'm pretty sure I get the hat loving thing from you, Grandpa. If I had one wish, I would want you to come back. I will truly and always love you, Grandpa.
Hi, I am Tara. I was Tony's second grandchild. Today we are all here to honor an amazing, wonderful man, Tony Martinez, as he is known, but to me he was Grandpa. He was a funny, loving, handsome man. He always looked so happy. He was always having fun and enjoying his life. His last words to me were, "Bye-bye now, Tara, I love you." And my last words to him were, "I love you, Grandpa." That moment is something I'll to forget. Another thing that I enjoyed was the smile Grandpa always had on his face when he would see his family eat the food he cooked. That's the special thing about Grandpa, his smile. It always lit up the room, along with his very special laugh. It's a sound no one can replace. But something that makes me happy is knowing that Grandpa died happy, surrounded by the love of his family. He was able to do so much in his life. He was able to share his love and memories with his family that he enjoyed. He got to watch his children and grandchildren grow up. He was able to travel the world with the love of his life. But we shouldn't be mourning forever. We have to think about Grandpa's life in a good way. How Grandpa lived his life to the fullest, enjoying every minute. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm Grandpa Tony's first grandchild, and my name's Alexia. I wish I could say I have a million memories of Grandpa, but I don't. But all that matters is those small moments that stuck with me, like his incredibly contagious laugh and smile. His jokes that were either really bad or super funny that would always make you laugh. And whenever I would come to visit, he'd make me lumpia, which is my favorite. I love him so much. I have a memory when I would visit, I would wake up early in the morning, and Grandma and Grandpa would already be in bed watching TV, and I would climb and sit in between them, and we would just talk and watch the news until we felt like getting up. He's a strong, loving man who made all of our lives so much better. He's an amazingly sweet man. Who's made our life so much brighter. He's an amazingly sweet man who has been not just an inspiration to me, but to many others. He's always been there for everybody, and today everybody's here for him. I love him, and we all love him. But today, let's honor and celebrate not only his love we have for him, but the love he has given us.
My name is Kathleen, and I met Tony back in 2001 at Juvenile Hall, where we worked together. And I was a group counselor, and if anybody knows, when you work in custody, you're confined to that area, and you're confined to eating whatever is prepared for the people locked up. And one thing about Tony, which we all loved, is he would make special treats for us and food, and we used to love his cooking. And it's funny that his daughter talks about, him preparing food for people he cared about, and we just felt it was such a treat when he did that for us, and it meant a lot to us. And it was the first time I'd ever tried chicken adobo. Was Tony's chicken adobo. And so now, here we are 16, 17 years later, and people say, "Oh, have you eaten this chicken adobo?" And I said, "No, this is not good enough." So from this point on, I always compare Tony's chicken adobo to any other adobo I ever eat. So, but aside from just his willingness to go the extra and do things that are just the little things that we felt were so special and we appreciated so much, is that Tony had this extraordinary smile, and his heart is just one of those people when you meet, you can just feel the love and the kindness and just the genuine good person that he was. And I really feel honored to have met him, and then also to work with his son Joe, wherever you're at, Joe. There you go. So, and I see the same qualities in Joe as well. But it just was an honor to work with him, to know him, to be a friend of his in the capacity at Juvenile Hall, and just want to say deepest condolences to the family. He will be missed greatly. Thank you.
I guess everyone's still gathering their thoughts, so I will try to say something about my father, Tony. first time I met Antonio Martinez was at his wedding. I was invited to be a groomsman because I think he came to America on his own. Well, he was brought by the U.S. Navy, I guess, but he basically was on his own and in search for his the love of his life, to follow her in the United States. And so I was invited to be a groomsman. I think Barry Ted over there, and Mario, I think. But after the wedding, I went back to college. I didn't see him again. And a year or two later, I'm not sure if it was 1 year or two, I was requested to be the godfather of their first son, Stephen. And from that day on, we called each other compadre. And then, of course, a few years later, maybe 5-6 years, I became his brother-in-law. So for about 48 years, I have watched and know my Padre Tony. He was a quiet, self-assured, and accomplished person. First of all, his self-motivation to come to the United States. I'm not sure, maybe it's because she knows that the love of his life, Comadre Aning was here, or because he has that dream of getting all his family here for a better life. But he was self-motivated to do that. And then his fearless journey to find Cipriana Islam, the love of his life. And then his plan and motivation to bring his brothers and sisters, 9 total, and including Amasilin, the father, and Ina Rosa, the mother of Paritoni. And then, of course, his love and caring in raising 4 children who are now grown up. They're raising their own children, and they are quite accomplished also. I have a lot of things to thank for to Padre Tony, because he was very caring and thoughtful. I always thought of him as a giver, not a taker. First of all, I thank him for bringing, I hope I don't embarrass her, the love of my life, Maria, over here. And then after that, at my wedding, I did not know this because I thought his father-in-law, Uncle Ambrose, was the cook. But I understand later that Padre Tony was there with him cooking for about 400 or 500 guests. And then, of course, many parties later on, birthdays and baptism and things like that. He was always there. You don't have to ask him. He will be there in the kitchen doing the things that needs to be done, or he's there with his kitchen twin, my wife, Maria. And in all of that, he was always there when you need him, but he never asked for anything. He never asked anything of me. The only time he asked for something was when he was expanding their first house in Britain, and he needed an engineer to drew a roof plan and size up some beams. That was the only time. Otherwise, he never said anything about how many times he has helped me. And so he was, again, he is a giver, not a taker. And then the final thing that I like to relate to you is his smiling face and jovial nature. When you see him coming, he has that impish smile with a glint in his eyes, like, what could I do with this person to bring him out of whatever is that's bothering him. His first inclination is always to make you smile, to joke with you. I call this jokes because they're not really jokes that it should be passed around, things like that. I call it the tunerism. In fact, one of the things the last thing that I heard of this tunerism was when he visited me the next day after my hip surgery. He told me right away, "What are you doing in bed? Why don't you get up and start running?" And then my sister-in-law came down, and she was complaining to her brother she was telling her brother, "I feel lazy and I want to stay in bed." And Father Tony, in her Tonyism, says, "Next time you go to your bed, bring some sugar, spread it all over the bed, and that should attract the ants, and that should keep you out of the bed." And then he said, "About your laziness, why don't you go around the neighborhood, knock on their doors, and tell them if you could do the mowing of their lawns." Again, that's Father Tony. He makes light of everything. He wants you to crack a smile like he always does. So I will miss that smile. I will miss the pinapaitan and magisan at Christmas time. But most of all, I'll miss the knowledge that I have a friend that will be always at my side when I need his help. Thank you.
Hello, can we settle it down a little bit? All right. So just want to start off with the memorial and the schedule for tonight. 5:30, pay respect to my father, Tony. And we're going to go ahead and start with the first song, Malinak Kay Labi. And then open the floor from 5:30 to 6:30 for someone to speak. And then move on with the prayer with Father Pete. And then we'll reopen the floor back again. Okay? With further ado, we have a seat. Thank you.
Okay, for those who are not from Pangasinan, this song is a favorite of a lot of Pangasinan. In fact, it's called Pangasinan National Anthem. And it's about a sweetheart that's going away. So we thought it's fitting that as we say goodbye to Padre Tony, that we'll sing this song to start our memorial vigil. So those who are from Pangasinan and you have your songs here, so please join us.
Tidak lain kuras lai maren Mengkal panai naga kata ke oi lina Sambil nukipku lina nunan pun tampo Lambut saya linggasmu sikan singkai mama mayun Kaduna bilai no sikalai ganang Kapunas amin sur menyak bibiten Kuna dulu tak korai sabit kai ukalin Akakana lingwanan angkat kauyus nabilai Akakana lingwanan angkat kauyus nabilai
Hi, everybody. My name's Sheila, the second oldest and only daughter of Antonio Martinez, my dad. So I just wrote something short for about my dad and to tell you about him. Can you hear me? So, come here. Louder. Can you hear me? So I was talking to my cousin Marissa earlier today about why I felt so lucky to be raised by my dad, because I feel very, very lucky that he was my dad. After some reflection, many thoughts came into my head about why I was just so happy and grateful to have my dad in my life. So I'm just going to go through a whole list of different things when I think of my dad, what he taught me. So first, my dad taught me to be self-reliant and independent. You know, he taught me that with hard work, because my dad worked really hard every day of his life, that, you know, great things can be accomplished. So I'm grateful that my dad taught me that. You know, just be self-reliant and, you know, learn how to do things on my own. He taught me that everybody should be treated equally. Nobody should be treated better or lesser than. Even though I was his only daughter, I want to make this all clear. I was not spoiled. My dad did not spoil me. My mom didn't spoil me. They treated all of us alike. Maybe Joseph got a little bit better treatment as the youngest. My dad taught me the importance of family and community. He loved my mom, my brothers, and I. He also loved his parents, brothers, sisters, and extended family and friends. You know, he loved you all. The strongest memories I have of growing up is really of family, food, and my favorite pastime, dancing. I owe all these wonderful memories to my dad, mom, and family. My dad taught me to be generous, you know, not necessarily with money or things, but with food and friendship. He was so happy to make food for everybody. Like, that was my dad's thing, is food, and making food for his family and friends. And he'd lend his ear if you had something to say. My dad was always, you know, he always had time to hear, you know, whatever you wanted to tell him. My dad taught me to be kind. Thinking about it now, and you can all think of my dad, can you ever remember a time that he ever said anything negative? I can't even think of one negative thing my dad ever said. And you know, although my dad never said it, he really followed the rule of, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, you know, my dad doesn't say a lot of, you know, a man of many words, but, you know, he was there, and, you know, he cared about you. My dad taught me to be humble. My dad was a very humble man. He never liked being in the spotlight. You guys all know that. If you wanted to find my dad, he'd be in the kitchen cooking. He also liked to be on the sidelines quietly looking at all the family activities. when everybody would be, dancing or, being wild and crazy, my dad would just be sitting in the background smiling and enjoying watching the family having fun. So by his example, he showed me that with humility, there is greater appreciation for the little things in life. My dad really appreciated spending time with my mom and the 7 grandchildren. He really liked to be a part of their daily activities. I know he was truly grateful for the life he was given, and he was very much loved by his family and friends. I just wanted to say one last thing is that I'm very grateful for my dad's presence in my life. I really just feel so lucky that he was my dad. And I will try so hard to continue to follow in his example and try my best to be a hardworking, family-loving, generous, kind, and humble person. Thank you.